Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara, and today's video is going to be Tea Chats with Kara, where I talk to you pretty candidly about the real estate market, but I'm not going to be sharing any specific statistics like I do in my housing market update videos. So think of this really as a casual sit-down chat that you and I might have at a cafe, just sort of talking about what's going on around Asheville and what's happening with the real estate market. So I want to start out by chatting about the real estate market on more of a broad scale. I know one of the first questions that I get asked when I speak to a new person is, what's the real estate market doing in Asheville? How has it changed? And where is it heading? So the best way to answer this question is to talk about home prices, demand, and inventory. If you're new to the Asheville real estate market, you may not know that home prices over the past few years have increased significantly. And it wasn't until very recently that home prices started to stabilize. So it's pretty common that around winter time the real estate market will slow down, but this slowdown has been more significant, or at least it's more pronounced when we compare it to how busy it was most of last year. Personally, I haven't really seen prices go down much, and a lot of that has to do with inventory. In Asheville, just like many places across the country, inventory is still very, very low. And honestly, I don't see that changing anytime soon. When we take a look at demand, we can definitely see a significant decrease this year compared to last year. But I do want to add in here that since we've seen interest rates drop from their peak at around 7% to where they are now at around 6%, some buyers have started to come back into the real estate market and start looking at homes again. The current level of demand is by no means similar to what it was for most of last year, but it is still there, and we are still in a seller's market, believe it or not. For a couple months there, I really didn't see any multiple offer situations, at least for me personally. However, over the past week or so, I have started to see this come up a little bit more, and homes that have been sitting on the market for maybe 60 or 90 days, those homes are actually starting to go under agreement now. So we have seen demand pick up at least a little bit, but inventory is still the biggest issue. I want to talk a little bit now about specifically what buyers can expect in this market, and then I'll talk a little bit about sellers as well. A term you may have heard recently is buyer fatigue. And that is a very real thing, and I've personally been seeing it with some of my clients, where if you're a buyer and you've been looking at the housing market and searching for homes for months and just really haven't been able to find anything, a lot of times buyers will just get really tired and worn out and just honestly frustrated and give up. I've certainly seen this play out, and a lot of times people will say, you know what, I'm just really tired, I'm over it, I'm over this market, I'm just going to put my home search on hold and wait until the spring or the summer, give myself a little bit of breathing room. And sometimes that isn't always the worst option. You know, sometimes that might just be what's best for you. But I will say, if you are really serious about buying a home, because inventory is so low, if there's a chance that your dream property pops up on the market, I would still keep an eye on the market, even at least a little bit, just in case that property that you've been waiting for does end up hitting the market. Not only that, let's say you're really just frustrated with the current home prices and interest rates as they are. Well, the reality is, I've said this in a few of my past videos, but it's not likely that home prices are going to go down by any significant amount this year, and interest rates may actually creep down a little bit more. And if they do, you would have the option to refinance your home to lock in that lower rate. The reality is, buying right now might not be for everyone, but a big benefit is that there is less competition out there, so buyers aren't really having to make super quick decisions on homes, at least not in 24 hours like they were for most of last year and pretty much all of 2021. Another huge benefit for buyers is that they have more negotiating power now than they have had in a very long time. If you were buying or selling a property in the peak of the real estate market, you probably remember that in many situations people were foregoing inspections, people were putting up huge amounts of money for due diligence and earnest money, and sellers were saying, hey, you know, whatever's wrong with the home, that's your problem. You know, if you don't want the house, good luck trying to find another one in this market. And the reality is things have changed since then, and buyers are actually able to ask sellers for more money off their purchase price, maybe for them to make certain repairs, and there's a little bit more back and forth now than there has been. All right, let's talk a little bit about the situation if you're a seller. What I've heard from some people is that they look at the market now and say, you know what, I missed it. I missed the peak of the market. I'm just not going to sell now. But if you really look at the statistics, you'll see that while yes, your home may not sell as quickly as it would have last year or the year before, it's still likely going to sell for as much, or at least nearly as much as it would have last year. So while you may have missed the absolute peak of the market where there was tons of demand and sellers were getting the absolute most for their property, you can still likely sell your property now for a very good profit. Something that I think isn't really talked about a lot, but is very important, is that if you're a potential seller, it's vital that you understand what the current market is doing and understand whether home prices are going up, going down, stabilizing, what the demand is, what the inventory is, etc. Really have a great grasp on what the real estate market is doing. Of course, that is one of the main benefits of having a real estate broker on your side, because someone like myself is really in touch with the real estate market and can share that information with you. I say all of this because I see sellers out there listing their homes for more than what the market will actually give them. In other words, they're overpricing their listings. A very important piece to remember if you're thinking about listing your home is that you want to list it in line with the direction that the market is going. So in other words, if prices are going up, it might not hurt to list your home just a little bit above what you think it might sell for. But if prices are going down, you don't want to price your property too high, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where your property's been sitting for a few months and you're constantly having price decreases to try to catch where the market is at this time. Well, I really hope that this video was helpful in some way. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite part was. Also, next week's video will be my February housing market update video. So if you prefer more hard statistics and specific numbers about what's going on nationally as well as locally with the real estate market, subscribe so that you're notified about when that video goes out next week. All right, everyone. Well, I'll see you very soon in the next one.